4 Russian warships are headed on the way to Havana, Cuba, about 90 miles from the Florida coast, due to arrive Wednesday for military exercises, a move certain to heighten tensions between the U.S. and Russia. Pentagon officials say they're monitoring the ship's movements, but they are not concerned. Cuba hosted Russian military exercises every year between 2013 and 2020. Cuba's foreign ministry says the ships pose no threat, but we all know the situation in Ukraine has changed the trajectory of this situation and relations. Saying in a statement that the visit corresponds to the historical friendly relations between Cuba and the Russian Federation. None of the ships carry nuclear weapons, so their stopover in our country does not represent a threat to the region. Last week, Russian President Vladimir Putin told reporters he would consider arming countries that are hostile to the U.S. and its Western allies. The remarks came after the Biden administration gave Ukraine the green light to use U.S.-made weapons to defend its Kharkiv region against Russian strikes. Here to talk more about it, retired Air Force Brigadier General John Teichert. Welcome, as always, sir.
Thanks, Marni, for having me.
What's your level of concern, your read on Russian warships so close to the Florida coast?
Marni, there isn't a direct threat here, but it is a not-so-subtle reminder from the Russians to the United States that they also have global reach and they can operate in our own backyard. They plan to execute some exercises while they're alongside of the Cubans and the Venezuelans. And it's just a great reminder from Putin to the United States in hopes to deter our support to Ukraine that they can reach out across the globe as well.
Can you give us an idea, John, of what these military exercises will look like or what they have looked like in the past?
Absolutely. This is going to be the largest one in several years, and it really is just a proof of concept of different countries being able to operate together. It isn't going to be a direct threat to the United States, but again, it is a very clear signal from Putin to Biden primarily in an attempt to deter our support that they can reach out close to our homeland as well.
So it's about posturing, and although the U.S. says it is not concerned, what type of readiness when these exercises are happening gets put into place?
Marni, all of the things that provide due diligence, but it also provides us a chance to assess via intelligence the types of capabilities that these countries have or could have, say, in the case of an escalation that would cause war to drift into the Western Hemisphere. But right now, we're going to be watching, we're going to be listening, and we're going to be as vigilant as necessary. But it's just 4 ships from the Russians, and it's not something to worry about. But it is a strong signal, again, that the Russians do have global capability.
How about your response to Putin telling reporters he would consider arming certain countries hostile to the U.S. and Western allies?
Marni, my concern is that throughout the war in Ukraine, that Putin has done whatever he could to deter or slow down U.S. support. And unfortunately, President Biden has been very fearful of escalation, not realizing that escalation is more likely when we entice adversaries through weakness instead of when we respond and deter through strength. And all of these words from Putin continue to play into the mind of President Biden and, in Putin's hopes, slow down U.S. support to Ukraine.
The Middle East has taken so much attention and a big chunk of the headlines over the last 9 months or so. How has that impacted Putin's role on the global stage as he continues to try and invade Ukraine?
Marni, I actually think more importantly that this type of situation is a reminder of what we remember from our history books is as the Monroe Doctrine, which is U.S. stated primacy in our hemisphere and rebuffing attempts of influence from others. And maybe now this is a chance for the United States as a reminder, not just because of this instance, but because of a Chinese spy capability that exists on Cuba, to re-snap back to making sure that we've got our house in order in this hemisphere as we also support our global interests around the world.
Right, and look to bolster our allies in the process. General John Teichert, as always, thank you. Thank you for watching. Go to NewsNationNow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.